One of the things I've been saying really consistently since I've launched my podcast, when people ask how I grew so fast, is I had a good website. Now, back when I launched in 2016, there were not as many options for good podcast websites as there are now. And being a web developer, I had a significant advantage over a lot of podcasters who would need to rely on hosting tools, which frankly didn't have very good websites at the time. Well, things have changed a lot in 8 years, and there are a lot of great tools. Sure, your podcast hosting platform probably offers a good website, but I like to have those things separate because you get more control, you get more features, and you get to design a full experience. But what if you are not a designer? Well, I'm so excited today to tell you about Podcast Page. They have sponsored this video and have provided me with a free account. And so we're going to walk through podcastpage.io if you want to check it out. Link is in the description below. And I'll show you how easy it is to get your podcast set up with a great website using podcastpage.io. Stick around to the end and I will give you a discount code to get 10% off of your account as well. But for now, let's actually dive into it. Like I said, this video is brought to you by Podcast Page. They are sponsoring this video. Thank you so much to Podcast Page for their support. Okay, so let's dive in here. So I have already set up one podcast website, but let's start from scratch. I'll create a new site. I will set this up for my podcast workflows podcast. I have really struggled with this one in particular. I have a WordPress integration that pulls the episodes onto the WordPress website, but because I have articles of similar names, I feel like it's really like muddying the waters, and I would love for a website to really be focused on the podcast. The host that I use for podcast workflows, their website designs leave me wanting. So I'm really excited to explore podcastpage.io here. So I put in a site name. I will click continue. And then this is really the first of many magical things about this platform. I don't have to go copy and paste my podcast RSS feed. I can just type in the name of the podcast and it will show up right here. So I will click import, and something super impressive is that it will import episodes, sure, but also reviews and subscribe buttons. So you don't even have to spend time gathering the subscribe buttons. Now here we are on the theme. Super excited about this part in particular because there are a lot of themes to choose from, and they are all focused on creating a great podcast listening experience. So we've got Miles, we've got Blakey. Like this one, I don't know if Duke really speaks to me because I like the artwork, but let's rotate through these one more time. I think I saw one that I really like. I do really like the bassy theme. Now, if you want to see, you can always click to check out a demo. Got some popular episodes down here. When I click, we have the full information. Also, it does import a transcript, which is pretty cool. So let's go with something lighter this time around. Let's go with, I guess this is train. I think I'm saying that right. So I'll select that theme. Okay, so I'm about to show you the customizer for podcastpage.io. And just know that I've already went ahead and done some customization so we can kind of see the full effect and the whole site doesn't look under construction, but I will walk through a bunch of this stuff for you. So don't be alarmed by the dramatic difference from the demo and the fact that you're already seeing a bunch of my stuff there. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. I have, like I said, already made some customizations. So I'll do a quick overview of the customizer and then we'll get into some of the beefier features that are really key to this platform. So here you have the ability to add your logo, customize the fonts, which I'm partial to open sans though. So we can go ahead and just change that there now. You can add your color scheme and you can make some changes. For example, you can have a voice message button here on the side if you like. I really like that. I love the idea of allowing people to call into the show or leave a message that I can play on the show. I think it's crucial to getting really good feedback in any way, shape, or form. So I love that podcast page has that. Then you can also customize the header and the footer. The footer's down here. Looks like this section didn't get the right coloring done, but that's okay. I can change that in a minute. So we do have some information here. You can modify that stuff in the footer layout and footer widgets section. So like if you don't want recent episodes and you want something else, some other widget, we'll show those in a minute, you can put them in the footer as well. And then I'm not going to walk through all of these, but you can design a singular episode page. I think that one is worth highlighting. So if I click through, we can show the episode image or not if we want. If you use custom episode artwork, which I strongly recommend you do, you definitely want to show that. We can show the episode metadata or not, and then we can get more granular. So like I'm not going to show the season. The season doesn't matter. The size I don't think is such a big deal. And we don't really need what was that? Yeah, we don't need this show title either. This is all for one show. If you do have multiple shows on the site, then maybe you would want to show that. So, and then we can set a default background image and things like that. The player color scheme is based on the color scheme you set in the general area. And then you can customize the subscribe modal as well. Then you can also choose to, if you want to show related episodes, so they'll figure out kind of how either recent or related episodes, how they relate, and then have your episode page fully customized. We can do the same thing with the pages and the blog posts. We'll get to that in a minute. You can add sidebars and subscribe and social buttons, pop-ups. You can put it in maintenance mode. So that's all stuff inside the customizer. Let's go ahead and add a new page. So we will call this page, let's call it, we'll do subscribe to the page. But the main point I want to highlight here is that we have a widget area, right? So if you are building out a site and you don't want to start from scratch, podcast page makes it very easy for you to build out some of these things. So there are templates. So like there's the subscribe template, there's the counters template, there's the profile template, calls to action, and then full on page templates. So like if you have a media kit, if you have sponsors, you can drag this page template here, and then you will be able to customize or update that information and send that page to potential sponsors. The same thing goes with blocks. There are some basic blocks, sections, columns, a video embed, but then there's also types of content, right? So something I didn't show, maybe I'll go back here and show this to you now, is you can add video channels. So I just connected a video channel. I added my YouTube URL here. No needing access to your YouTube account. It just grabs it from the public page. So this is the YouTube channel I added. And all of my videos here are added from my YouTube channel. So like the best podcast planners, if I click on that, it will take me to a page that is fully generated from the YouTube description with the chapter markers and all of the tags I included. So if you're doing stuff on YouTube and you want it imported here, you can do that as well. So all of that is to say, let's create a new page. Let's actually create a new page called videos, since that's not here, right? So we'll add a new page. We'll call it videos. The page slug will be videos. That's the URL. Okay, and then we'll go to the widgets area and we'll bring over the videos block. And now this is going to show a list of all of the videos. We can choose the limit and the column count. So I'm going to do like a 3-column count here. I really like that. We can choose the grid gap. We can display filter buttons. So if we want to do that, I'm going to exclude that. And then we can, of course, kind of choose if we want to display the player or just an image, and a whole bunch of other info. But I love that I can just add a list of my videos to my podcast page. My videos are, in fact, related to my podcast. So this is really smart. And then I'm going to click update. I had already created this page. And then we'll go back to the dashboard. One of the things I'm struggling with in this demo is that they've created all of the pages I would want to create. So while I want to show you kind of more of these widgets, the site basically out of the box is the site's in a really good place. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show how the blog works, right? So we've looked at podcasts, the customizer, the general settings, pages. So now let's look at the blog. You have a sample blog post here so we can see how this looks. The other thing that we can do is create a new blog post. So on the new post page, you'll see that this interface looks a little bit different. So let's go ahead and call this Why Your Podcast Needs a Blog. And then if I type / here, we can see all of the widgets that are showing up here. It's nice. The pages interface is focused on layout because that's one of the most important thing about pages, but a blog is focused on writing. And while we can still add this great information here, it's an experience designed for long form writing. So I really love that about this interface and this user experience. So I'm not going to save that, but that is, I think, it shows that the folks over at Podcast Page have really thought about this experience. Okay, so we've looked at easy customization. We've looked at easy imports. We've looked at the blog and widgets area. We looked at video sync, which is super cool because you're syncing your YouTube channel. Let's go to something that is really good for all podcasters, and that's the membership section. So I've switched to my other account where memberships is enabled. I've already connected my Stripe account. So if you haven't done that, the first thing you'll see here is to connect a Stripe account. If you don't have a Stripe account, podcastpage.io just walks you through it. So you don't worry about having to go through a complicated process. You'll get step-by-step instructions on how to do that. Once you go ahead and add your Stripe account, you can create different tiers. So we'll just call this, I like Pro. The monthly price, let's set it at $5 a month. The yearly price, let's set it at $50 a month. Actually, you know what? Let's set it at $10 a month and $80 a month, right? Then we can add the features and benefits here. So early access to episodes, ad-free, extended episodes, bonus content, and member-only feedback opportunities. All right, then you could see that we can restrict content on Pro. So if we have multiple podcasts connected, so if I had a private podcast, for example, or maybe a podcast I haven't submitted to directories, I can choose the podcasts here, or I can also restrict individual resources, and I can restrict blog categories or my blog as well as individual resources. So I'll save this plan. Now I can also add another plan if I want. So let's see what's above Pro. Premium, Platinum. And then again, we could select podcast or blog here. So I'll save that plan. And now that we have our plans, we can go ahead and create another page. So we'll call this, I'm using a different template here. Members only, or join the membership. How about that? And then in the blocks, we can scroll down and there is the plans. And then we'll just keep that as is. And then we can also have the other widgets here. So we'll do login. And actually, let's make this 2 columns. So I'll add the column and then I'll add the login widget here. And then the sign up widget here, which I don't think we don't really need this if we have the plans, but we can also, it comes with a toggle. I love that. And then of course you can customize everything. So we'll hit publish and then we'll go back and we will add this page to the navigation under, header and footer, navigation menu links. So we'll add an item and then join the membership. We'll save that so then we can see this on the front end as well. Refresh that. Join the membership. So now users can click through, they'll sign up, and then they'll be taken to their credit card information. Okay, so we've just fully walked through Podcast Page. I think it's a really intuitive interface. I think the widgets are really good. I don't really have any complaints about it. I think if you are not a web developer and you need a good solution for a podcast website, Podcast Page is a great option. The features I really like is it'll automatically pull in reviews when you have them, the voice memos widget, and the memberships, because these are things that I think podcasters really struggle to find good solutions to, and having an all-in-one platform makes it really easy. Plus, it will automatically import all of your episodes. You don't have to, it's like a set it and forget it thing. So I'm a big fan of this. I think if you're looking for a good solution for a podcast website, it's worth a try. Now, you can do a 14-day free trial, no credit card required, and it's got some pretty generous plans here. So this is the annual pricing, $12 per month. You get a website and then everything that we just walked through, custom domain, members, drag and drop interfaces, the custom widgets, and a lot more, importing your reviews and YouTube videos, as well as the ability to add a team member. Once you get up to business, that's $18 a month, and you get a bunch more integrations. You can support multiple podcasts and shows. So if you have your own little podcast network, or you as a indie podcaster have multiple shows you want to have on one site, you can do that. You get more members, and then AI features, more team members, multiple YouTube accounts, site analytics, and so much more. And of course, as I teased at the beginning, you can get 10% off. So that's 10% off any plan with the code Joe Casabona when you subscribe over at podcastpage.io today. Again, that code is Joe Casabona for 10% off. Thanks so much to podcastpage.io for sponsoring this video. I think it's a great platform if you are looking for a modern solution to create an amazing website for your podcast. I don't think you can go wrong with Podcast Page. It's got lots of features and their brand new memberships. The editor has been revamped. If you have questions about setting up your own podcast website or questions about Podcast Page, leave them in the description below. And if you liked this video, if you liked this review, want to see more of them, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you out there.